First of all, congratulations if you're lucky enough to have reached the advanced age of 40, which I consider to be the threshold of that phase of life called middle-aged. If you're older than that, get a high five too. Because as we all know, millions of people have never reached that age and millions more won't. So we should consider ourselves privileged. Yet we still complain. Why is that? I don't know, but let me run through a couple of reasons why we should embrace middle age and one or two reasons why we could curse it as well. Because I think most of us are probably a little conflicted about it. It's not that we're not grateful to be still alive, but we just kind of want to stay young. To quote F. Scott Fitzgerald, the author of The Great Gatsby, the test of a first-rate intelligence is to hold two opposed ideas in the mind at the same time and still retain the ability to function. Something which Fitzgerald himself struggled with as he hit his 40s. Battling alcoholism and a declining mental health, he died at the age of 44. You and I don't have to. The two seemingly opposed ideas we should embrace are don't deny your age, but also don't let it stop you. But first, to reset our perspectives on age and possibly to be more tolerant of aging, I just want to mention two people who are no longer middle-aged but are elderly or maybe even old, just to make us maybe a little more appreciative of the possibilities that we have when we grow older. Take Judy Dench. She's 86, still active, still very much engaged in life and in acting. As I read in an article in The Guardian in January this year, she's 5'1", yet she imagines herself to be about 6 feet tall, willowy, and about 39 years old. And I know exactly what she means. To be honest, my self-image too is a little behind or out of sync with my chronological age. But I think that's okay because the alternative is to feel diminished or worn, which I refuse. Looking at Judy Dench, one might even conclude that a diluted self-image keeps you younger. At the end of the article, she said, "Fuck being 86 years old." Good for her. Or what about Joe Biden's victory jog up on that stage in Wilmington? Whether you believe in his politics or not, he's still a 78-year-old man who holds the highest political office in the world. And in my part of the world, many people retire at the age of 62. If you have a job you love, you shouldn't have to retire. If you have a job that you don't love, maybe you should try to find one. It's never really too late. Because one of the things that keeps us alive and keeps us healthy for a long time is staying active. Not just taking neighborhood walks with our fellow pensioners, but staying active in a job or in something that has some sort of job-related meaning to us. So being middle-aged or old doesn't mean that we have one foot in the grave, or rather, we all have one foot in the grave. We have had since we were born. None of us gets out of here alive. But it doesn't mean that we have to throw in the towel before we have to. One thing I read recently, which we should surely embrace, is the fact that our brains will actually become better at pattern matching and abstraction as we age. The part of our brain that deals with these faculties actually grows as we get older. In fact, many parts of our brains have the ability to grow throughout our lives. It's mainly our physical capabilities to some extent and our memory that deteriorates. Everything else, not as much as rumor would have it. A major killer for many people as they grow older is sleep deprivation. In order for the changes of our brains to manifest in our lives and in our brains, we need rest. It doesn't necessarily have to be sleep, but enough sleep and meditation, breathing exercises, yoga nidra, etc., because that's when the rewiring takes place. According to neurosurgeons, a combination of focus and rest is what is required. As we learn new things, if we learn new things as we get older and challenge our brains, every now and then our brains need rest. Focus on whatever new thing you're learning, whether it's improved behavior such as practicing being grateful or learning a new language, and then also taking time out to rest. I often have an overactive brain at the most inconvenient of times, namely during the night when I should be sleeping. Even an hour too little leaves me unfocused and jet-lagged the next day. And you do not need less sleep as you age. That is a myth. When older people don't sleep much, it's not because they shouldn't or don't need to, it's because they can't. So if you were to zoom in on one thing that you actually have some influence on and which will help you as you age, it would be to get enough sleep, to prioritize your sleep, to get good quality sleep and also get enough sleep. Elon Musk claims that he needs only between 6 and 6.5 hours of sleep, and it varies from person to person. Most people need between 7 and 9 hours. I know I definitely never get 9 hours, but I do also meditate. So what can we do in order to get enough sleep and enough good quality sleep? Well, I guess you probably know the same strategies as I do. You should exercise, you should get enough light and fresh air, wear blue screen glasses if you sit in front of a device at night, and preferably shut off your device 2 to 3 hours before you go to bed. Even when I do these things, and I often don't, I'm afraid, I still sometimes have problems sleeping. You may too. Probably it's because of some kind of mental or social stress, and that is actually apparently one of the major killers. It's also one of the reasons why I meditate. Not that I want my cat to be in every single video, but take a look at him. Not much social stress going on there. He prioritizes his sleep. The good news is exercising and exposing ourselves to natural light, etc., will also reduce our stress levels. So that is also one of the things you should really prioritize. Do whatever it takes to try to reduce your stress levels. Zoom in on what it is that makes you stressful. If it's that job that you hate, quit it. But of course, ensure that the alternative doesn't make you just as stressful. So if you're middle-aged or older, let's agree not to hide our light under a bushel or to go gentle into that good night, because we don't have to. If we're lucky, we have years and years ahead of us in which we can renew ourselves and lead meaningful and joyful lives. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much for watching.